What's up, people? Tables Chronicles back again for you all, wherever you are in the world.
All over
This
the
is
world.
it. Yeah, man. And it's your boy, KIDDNAPPA underscore the journey. And on my left side, it's normally on my right, but on my left side
Today on the left,
yeah,
to the
man.
left, to the left.
This is it. To my left side is Reality Complex.
Real complex.
Yeah.
AKA, let's get that life in check. Jules D100, let's go.
Yeah, man. Let's get it rolling. Let's roll like a roller coaster. Yeah, man. People, it's been an interesting set of days, set of weeks, set of months, I guess. Oh, boy, we're already finishing August.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Flipping out.
3/4 of the way.
8 months in. It's going to be New Year very soon, man. Lord have mercy. No wonder people are going mad all over the world. You know what? Because of this technology thing, which everybody has on them, people are just choosing to literally let it be known how they're feeling. There's a lot of positives in it, and bloody hell, there's some negatives.
What do you mean in terms of the use of technology and venting? And
the fact that, I think what I'm getting to, there's a lot of ignorant people who have access to technology now, and their ignorance is now seen. Because the reason I'm rolling out this one, which is one of those conversations whereby you have people, we tapped on Namibia before, we tapped onto it. Some people were like, oh yeah, you're actually talking about a fact, but at the same time, people were like, no. And it's like, mate, if somebody's already told you it's a fact, if you look it up on Google, you will see the facts that I'm talking about. But then you also have another set of people who are now telling you the differences in black people wherever you are in the world. And that's the one I'm thinking, why do it like that? Because like, we're supposed to be one people, man. We're supposed to be evaluating ourselves as a set of people. You know what I mean? But some people...
It's because of the segregation, in it? And the cultural differences as to where black people are. So, like, for example, like, I think what you're alluding to is the African Americans.
Yeah, that thing has come in. Oh,
Africans.
There's African Americans, and then there's Africans, and then there's people who are telling you, no, we're from this country, and it's like, yo, I'm not even trying to argue with you.
Just put it in layman terms so people understand what we're getting to. So, of late, African American, not all of them, but a large group of them are saying that they no longer refer to themselves as African. They just want to be American.
American, yes.
And obviously, like, on one side of the story, there's the story that, you are where you originate from. So every black person originates from Africa. So we're automatically, you have by default setting, you have a correlation to Africa, whether you like it or don't like it. That's the fact.
The story of it.
And then the other side of it is that because you weren't born there, you're born in the country where you are right now. So, i.e., America. That means you're not actually African because your lineage is like your dad or mum was in America. They were born there. Then their parents were born there.
No, you've said that.
So that means that you're just American because none of your parents before were actually from Africa. It's way back in your bloodline that you're from there. So you've obviously taken on the cultural instincts of the person that lives in America, i.e., so that puts you to be American. So that's what they're saying, right?
Listen, you've just touched on something because, as we were talking about this, you've seen this thing about the black people who are living in Scotland identify as Scottish and all of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, I've always looked at it and said, you know something? I can never identify with England. And it's nothing to do with the fact that I wasn't even born in England. I've grown up in England. But for me, I'm always like, yo, you do know the history of English people in the continent for me to be walking around like, what's going on here? And it's the same thing. I was looking at these guys who are talking about the thing in Scotland, the black people in Scotland, and I'm like, so you guys are clearly now identifying as, I'm Scottish and blah, blah, blah. So, when the fact of the matter remains, your family actually has a history of where it came from. And being in Scotland, because Scotland, and I didn't want to say this, but one thing I will say, because Scotland owned a lot of slaves. In actual fact, even Glasgow itself, there's a bit of a history of the slavery that took place and the ownership of.
And everything
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in the UK is built on slavery.
Bro, the ownership, but particularly Scotland, I was like, I've never realized how in depth Scotland was when it comes to it. Because you know what?
That's why a lot of black people have Scottish last names, isn't it?
Bro.
Because you have the last name.
Of the person who owned you.
Yeah, the people that owned you.
Who owned you, basically.
But let's go back to identifying. So, basically speaking, I think as a culture, as black people, we're by default gonna have an issue with our
identity
because of colonialism, slavery, and so forth. We've been moved around.
We've been moved around, but we have a story.
It's hard for a black person. If you say to the black person, "Where are you from?" They go, "What do you mean, originally?" Or right now, where I live right now.
And you know what's funny?
That's with every black person in the world.
And I'll tell you one thing, because every time you say somebody, when you link up with some people, the first thing you're gonna say to them is, "Where ends are you from?" Because nobody will ever tell you, "Yeah, I'm English," and blah blah. The only thing I've always known is when you say somebody, "Where are you from?" They'll always mention an area that they grew up in. And I'm like, but you never hear somebody tell you, "I'm English," or "I'm from here."
Yeah, because they don't know they just assume you mean that immediate area where they live.
Bro, I know, but even sometimes
you got to then say no originally. Because then they go, "Oh, originally I'm from here."
Bro, it's a very gray area for a conversation. But you know what? I always say, if you want to see yourself as a donkey, call yourself a donkey. Because that's the time we're living in at the moment.
It is, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Because whether you find it offensive or non-offensive, I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody.
It's funny because, like, say me, for example, I'm Afro-Caribbean. So, like, when I meet a Jamaican, they obviously don't class me as Jamaican because I don't live there.
Man are foreign.
Yeah.
Man are foreign.
So... But my grandparents are Jamaican.
But your background is Jamaica. Yeah, it's
were born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, because I had a conversation with my mother today about it, and I mentioned that we we're going to talk about this, and I said to her exactly what I said to you. You know, originally, you know, we were moved around because of colonialism and things like that.
Yeah.
But the difference is, like, my grandparents chose to come over here to work. So then we're migrants. So our story is we're immigrants, basically. Whereas other people is through colonialism why they ended up there, or slavery. Do you know what I mean? So there's different circumstances as to why a person that's not originally from a country is in that country. Do you get it?
I'll tell you, because you know what, I put it down to this, yeah. If you even look at some of the islands, okay, let's use Jamaica as an example. The reason why Jamaica exists today is because what they did, they enslaved Africans into the island. They brought the Irish in there to teach the what do you call it, the Africans the English that they could speak. But here's the thing: what I found more interesting is, do you realize I think Irish nationals were the first people to get the full-blown taste of what England can do in a place. Because when England went into Ireland, they went and controlled the place. English is spoken in the country, despite the fact the place is Irish. Then they've also made sure Northern Ireland, which is part of Ireland, but they cut that one off and said, "Nah, it's part of the United Kingdom, basically."
And I'm like, a whole chunk of the
bro,
told them,
and this it belongs. So you when you even go there, they find it disrespectful if you start making a comparison between the North and the South, and it's like they got four. I forgot what they call them, but they've got 4 places in like they got 4 regions in Ireland. There's 4 regions. So there's a northern part. I forgot the name of the northern part. We'll have to Google it now. But the west, the east, and the south, they all have a particular name for all of those places, right? And and then they were taken to Jamaica as they were taken there to work, basically. And then in the space of that period, with the Africans that are there, now it comes in, and these guys are like, okay, well, clearly here now they have to start forming their own language in itself. So that's how English now became the patois came out in English, isn't it? It was to confuse the
slave owners, so they didn't know what they were talking about.
Exactly. That's how Patwa came about. So sometimes, but now you also have a lot of other people who've come into Jamaica through immigration now. The Chinese and the Indians. They've come in via the immigration pact where they've come in there to also now build for whatever the case. Primarily the Chinese were the immigrants because the Indians were brought there to also do some work, which is what every single English colony around the world has always had the Indians as a second-class worker.
The British Empire took over like a large part of the world at its peak.
Yeah.
And obviously, like we know they have a good navy. That was how they was able to travel.
They was able to get
like masters at traveling via boat, and that's why the British Navy is like one of the best navies in the world because of the heritage behind it.
And conquering everywhere and stealing what they can.
Even for me, what I want to research a bit more is their strategy, because obviously they had a strategy, and I read somewhere that it was because. The reason why they obviously lost half of it was because of the world wars. The world wars crippled them. That's the war cost money, basically. But what I really want to know is the strategy that they employed in all these different places, or if it's the same strategy everywhere that works.
Bro, I'll tell you.
Conquer. Like, what is it about the British specifically that made them so successful? Not just about the traveling side, but obviously when you get there and you start talking to people, how do you go about conquering lands where their population is larger than your own?
I think that has a lot to do with the niceness of some of those places as well. The people in those places were very welcoming. They were welcoming to a set of people who were prepared to just say, you know what,
they had something else on their mind.
Is our we're here, we're friendly, but then as they have the control of the place, they're now executing the people of the particular countries. Do you know what I mean? And one thing they did do quite well, because I always know this, not that I always know, it's something that's in history anyway. They've always gone, any part of the world the British have gone into, the first thing they've done, they've taken control of the place. And as they've taken control of the place, they start building the railway system. And who do they use for the railway system? They now bring Indians from India into those countries so that they could build a railway system for them. And you know, there's a lot
importing and exporting.
And they've always, and everywhere they've gone, they've always seen themselves as the number one citizen of whatever country it is that they're invading. And then they say the Indians are secondary, then everybody else is get lost type of thing. So it's a very gray, like history just teaches you some things. I'm like, there's no way. Because, you know, and the thing about it is, because they learned from the Arabs, because the Arabs were the first slave owners. Arabs were the first slave owners. And what Arabs did, the Arabs just went in, took people in, they made sure they castrated a lot more people whilst they caused the chaos that they were causing in those parts of the world. But one thing they did, they ended up taking some of the people that were taken in from the continent itself, taken into the Arab world and into Asia. But till tomorrow morning, we will never hear about these people as much as
the discussion online is that obviously slavery existed before the transatlantic slavery.
The Arabs.
It's the magnitude of the transatlantic slavery.
That's the one.
That's the one. Absolutely rinsed that strategy of slavery.
Bro, they were ready.
Industrially, economically, it gave them such a boost to their economy.
It gave them an advantage in itself. You know what I mean?
So much off the back of, like, most of their wealth is built off the back of slavery.
And guess what? It benefited them so much until the point that colonization was taking place after. And as the colonization was taking place after, they still had this is what I say about Europeans, they could never get along after they ended slavery. Because as soon as they ended slavery, they decided to have a World War I. They had a World War II. And it took them a while to just say, you know what, let's just get along and let's figure this thing out. Because I was talking about, like, when you even look at the currencies of the world, right? Because I was looking at it, I was like, you know what, Portugal, France, Spain, what's the other country there? Netherlands. All these countries, they had their own currencies. But then
when they decided to say,
let's unite and let's have the one currency for us. And they've done it. And you know, it's like, yo, so you guys getting along was not a thing for them. They were always like, yo, what can we do? let's move around
So
here.
they had
Let's,
like what I call a light beef.
bro.
Their beef was different.
Their beef was
Who owns what part of Africa.
And that's what formed the USA.
Different type of beef.
And that's what formed the USA tomorrow. Because when you look at America, when you look at the East, if you look at the East Coast of America, it was primarily the Dutch, the English, and the British, should I say. They were the ones who were primarily fighting in that region to take control of the place. Because if you go to a place like New York never used to be New York all the time. It was New Amsterdam. And then it became New York. Because they named it after somebody of York in York, England. So now they renamed it New York for that. Then you go to the mid states of the US. So anything from Louisiana going north. Louisiana is south, because somebody's gonna pick on the fact that I said, "Oh, you're talking about the mid." But yes, Louisiana is south. But when you go from Louisiana going north, everything is the West Coast. It was primarily French, and it was because what's his name? When he sold it. Leopold, not Leopold, what's his name? The French guy. Napoleon Bonaparte. When Napoleon Bonaparte sold Louisiana, he was selling Louisiana, but he didn't realize what he was selling to what was now the USA, which was primarily the 14 colonies at the time. But when they went and bought that land, and they realized, oh, they bought it from the French. Then when you go to the West Coast, Spanish. So when you go from Mexico going up, everything is Spanish. And then they also now, this is the part I find interesting, because when you start looking at, I don't know why Central America, what particular part of the world does Central America belong in? Because I've always looked, there's South America always comes under South America. I think from Brazil.
But the whole map is manipulation.
For sure it's manipulated, because...
Yeah, it's manipulated to make America seem a certain way. And the size of America as well to seem bigger.
No, it's an argument that's actually taking place right now.
Yeah, and it's built to cause confusion.
Yeah.
Because when they say America, you see like how South America is part of actual
North America and Central America. They're all in. There's no water that divides them.
Yeah, so it's built.
There's no water that divides them.
A certain way, on purpose to cause these technical issues,
brother. Because I'm telling you this, I said I was talking to somebody the other day,
and I was like, as well, because you got like Argentina, Colombia, like
those are south.
All on
those are south. Yeah.
You've got the key that goes up, like
the central Nicaragua, I think, that goes into Mexico.
Is it Tijuana?
Tijuana is in Mexico.
Yeah, and then but basically
the Central America region.
So that little line going up, it's always up for debate,
bro,
and they like it like that, because then they can do all types of funny business with the trade.
Exactly, because if you even look at it, because the Suez Canal.
What's interesting is just to the right of that part that we're talking about, you got the Caribbean islands, like just
Caribbean islands
like
are just
floating.
Yeah.
so that you could technically say
from Guyana,
that is Central America as well.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how that's seen as something else, and that's probably
it comes in America,
the
doesn't
transatlantic slave trade. Why they put it like that? But geographically, it's all the same. That middle part.
We're just in a very interesting tales and times, people. But that's all it is. But anyway,
speaking of America, Europeans and war and things like that, Trump is trying to make peace, isn't he, between Ukraine
and Russia.
And what's interesting, what you're saying about Europeans, like now that we're talking about it, is the fact that Zelensky pulled up with the world leaders from Europe to back him when he went to
the usual people, the usual suspects.
It's so interesting how things align. And then obviously Putin went on these ones, met him in Alaska, didn't he? And what's fascinating, is that Zelensky, he's trying to get the Europeans to commit to backing him as security, as a backup, to make sure that Putin doesn't do it again. But I just get the energy that none of them are brave enough to do it, because no one wants beef with Putin. Bro. So it's like they're trying to say, yeah, we got you, bro. But then he's like, show me that you got me. Do something.
The interesting thing,
like put your mouth where your
mouth is.
Put the actions where your mouth
is. Yeah.
So I find that whole triangular situation interesting. So obviously Trump's trying to be the one to sort it all out.
Bro.
And then his Zelensky saying that he wants them to commit to after. So supposing hypothetically they do peace talks and whatever, now he wants to guarantee that Putin doesn't go against his word and break it, and that's where he's trying to get the Europeans to commit to saying, we'll back you, we'll sign this on paper to say that we'll be a security force. But at the end of the day, no one wants it with Putin. Let's be honest. Like,
bro, but you see how that
just
guy,
how mad the guy is, because he's ex-KGB as well, isn't he?
Bro, have you not seen?
So he's already got blood on his hands.
Bro, like, the guy loves fighting.
Done a load of.
He loves fighting.
Of that, he's done things that are probably unspeakable.
I'm not one that favors either one of the leaders.
No one wants it with the madman.
No, I don't. I literally, because I said it. I was talking on my channel the other day, because Russia is the only country in the Western world. Well, it will come under Eastern Europe, wouldn't it? But in the West, there is no university named after anybody from the continent, right? There is nobody. If you go to the US, there is no university named after anybody else. But guess what? You go to Russia, there is a university named after the former Congo leader. What's his name? Patrice Lumumba. There's a university that they have there, which was named after him. Now it goes to tell you, as much as you want to see Russia as a bit of a problem, it's not really an African problem, really.
But this is the thing, yeah? Because obviously, and this is how the Western world and Europeans operate. So they obviously paint a certain picture by using things like media outlets, newspapers, and the news and things to sell you the narrative that they want you to know.
Yep.
So even if they do something elsewhere, they're not going to let you know that's what we did. They're going to say, oh, so-and-so. It's like when someone's got a point and they're speaking out, and they go, oh, that's a crazy person.
Yeah.
To kind of disvalue what the person's saying.
To bring your point
so then
across.
All you know is, oh, that's a crazy person, don't listen to them. When really they've got some truth behind what they're saying. So
it's a bit of a...
That's why I just never trust the news, man.
It's a hullabaloo.
Until I sit down, until I have a conversation with Putin and say, Putin, what's going on? Like, why are you acting like a madman?
And the thing about Putin is he's a very...
talk to the person.
Because how old is Putin? He's well over 70 now, isn't he? He's well over for a while. He's been around for a while. But here's the interesting thing about Putin, because he's fit. He's very fit.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very fit guy. He doesn't mix around. He goes horseback.
I see man riding a horse.
He's always riding the horses. And he's fought with bears. He's fought with bears and stuff. But I fail to understand bro, them guys are different, man. That country is different. I'm saying that now. Because I've been to Moscow, and I just remember when I was there, I was like, yo, this place is freaking cold. Like the ice on that place is
Russia
different.
is just a marvel to me. It's like when I just look at it on the map and like the amount of countries that it covers, like the amount you could travel from one side of the world to the other.
Everybody,
just in Russia, just by going through one.
And primarily, Russia is above Asia.
Yeah.
Primarily.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's another argument when I say it,
because it has like I think Siberia and other places kind of touch.
Bro, it's got a good few places. Yeah.
So it's like when you see Bivol versus Berbatov, and they're both from Russia.
Yeah.
One of them looks like Asian. The other one looks like European.
Because those guys
because of how vast
the way the place
that
is
itself shows me, the vast.
It's a different place, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Different areas that Russia covers.
Because I was looking at. I've always looked at Russia. I've been there, and I'm like, this place is interesting, but when you start looking at the history of Russia, you're like, these guys don't play around. That's why they set up the nuclear very quickly. And you could see, if you see the argument between North Korea and South Korea, Russia was supporting North Korea. North Korea doesn't mess around with Russia. But anybody else that wants to come and talk their rubbish, North Korea is like, yeah, you can come along. We're gonna test and test and test. And I always wonder, like, that little, because that guy he's not even, he's probably 40 now, the president of North Korea. Because he's probably because his family literally owns the country. Because they literally divided. I think that's the only country in the world that's divided but they're all located. It's just the parallel, the fifth parallel, I think they call it.
Trump even spoke to him, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to meet up with him a few years ago when he was president.
And when they just thought that no one could chat with him, Trump's like he's the madman that understands madman.
Because you know the interest, and the interest, you know the interesting thing about that particular guy. What's his Kim Il Sung, something Sung anyway. But the interesting thing about him is that he was in school, I think, in Switzerland. That's why, you know, the first ever publicly seen American, should we say, was LeBron James. LeBron James. I did not just say that. No. What's the name of this basketball Chicago Bulls player who saw his dye his hair?
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman was the first guy who went to see him in North Korea.
Yeah, they had a friendship.
Yeah, they had a very good friendship. And it's like, you're looking at Dennis Rodman, you're like, Rodman, how did you manage this one, man? And Rodman is very proudly like, I was the first one to go. And I'm like, yo, bro, the fact that you went there, you know, Rodman is a different kind of a guy anyway.
Yeah, he's out there.
He's a very different kind of guy. Because you remember he used to be in, he's the one that married himself at one point, didn't he?
What?
Dennis Rodman. Yeah, he married himself. He wore a dress and he went to marry himself.
I did see pictures of him, but I didn't know what's going on.
Rodman did the hair dyes, the tattoos.
He's just a different dude,
he's just a different guy, man, generally. You know, and he's a reason. He used to even date Madonna, wasn't it? Yeah, Dennis Rodman. Because if you watch out to listen to some of the stories they talk about Rodman, you're like,
everyone's got wild stories.
This guy's a different guy. But the fact that he could sit down with the president of North Korea with no issues, and you're looking at him, but that Sung guy, man, because I'm looking at, bro, I need to be back in my fitness anyway. But
do you think, seeing as though Trump's spoken to both these two leaders that people are a bit wary of, do you think he's got the skill set to bring peace?
No. The skill set is in the people who are not being seen.
Yeah, because they're saying that Putin, he wants to take, I think, Donetsk, the land where there's heavy fighting at the moment.
Donetsk, yeah. Is it Donetsk?
Yeah, that's where it's really bad because they don't want to give up land. But they've already Russia kind of got control of a part of it, but there's a part of it that they can't really grasp control of right now. And Putin is saying, that's the terms. Like, I want all of Donetsk.
Bro, this guy, Putin, you remember he took the island that he went and took. That's about well over 10 years ago. It was a place that was Ukraine. Then he went in there and he took it, and nobody in the West could fight Russia. They went and took it, and they transformed everything.
What they're really gonna do, bro? Like physically, like, you know, his army is a beast. And we knew that from the beginning when you matched up the two. So he's just picking on the smaller country, really.
It's the nuclear.
So
it's the fact that, you know, what it is.
And the resources he has, isn't it? Because he has oil as well, and he pumps gas as well. He has the pipeline.
Yeah, and that's what was controlling Germany for a very long time. And I think it still is.
Someone blew it up.
I think they still supply. They probably blew up some part, but they can't blow up everything. But the fact of the matter remains, these people will always be on your beck and call. They will always be there, and they'll tell you this is what we want, and you can't say nothing to them because guess what? Ukraine closed off its nuclear plants. Ukraine closed that one off. Now Ukraine has closed their nuclear plants. Okay, fine. And guess what? Ukraine can't fight no more. But Russia, we still got our stuff, man. You can't disturb us, man. Leave us alone.
Yeah,
and there's nothing you can say or do.
When they lined up to fight, that was always the case, though, isn't it? Because Ukraine's a smaller one, and it was always going to have to concede. But people just didn't think it would last. The war would last, and Russia took quite a lot of L's as well along the way. Like a lot of his majors and generals got killed that they didn't expect.
Well, they had to. That's